Okay, so this is our new StarMask stencil film from StarCraft. It is green, and I wanted to test it to see how well it does. I've cut this Farm Fresh pumpkin logo to put on a piece of palette wood I had. So I had begun to peel it back, but as you notice with stencil film, you're going to have to work each little piece to keep it on the board. But when it is stuck to the piece of wood, it's down pretty good. It does not tend to come up once you get it there. You'll also notice my test cut here I did. I'm going to have to cut that out before I begin painting because I definitely don't want that on my design, although the test cuts are very important to do. I decided to do a test cut since I've never cut this type of film before. You'll see in my leaves here, I'm having to push down some of these smaller pieces to keep them to stay. It's just a simple process, takes a little bit of time, but it's working, seems like it's working beautifully as I release the carrier. Again, there's my pumpkin wanting to come up, my pea. Okay. Feels like to me that this stencil film is a lot more tacky than the Aura mask we used to carry. So I hope that I'm going to have good results from it. There's the side of mine. I don't need that. Okay. Oops, that's a splinter on my wood. I'm just going to kind of give it a nice good rub here to seal it before I paint this little sign, and I will show you a finished product once I have finished painting it. So I'm going to use a small amount of Mod Podge. I like the matte finish to go over my stencil first, and what this does is this will seal the cracks so that when you put the paint in, you should not have any bleed in your colors. It is a technique that is used and loved by many when it comes to stenciling. Now that the Mod Podge is done, you can let it dry for about 10 or 15 minutes before you start painting, or you can hit it with your heat gun, and that will speed the process up for you too. Okay, now that the Mod Podge has dried, I'm going to come back in and I'm going to paint this cute little pumpkin and finish this plaque. So now if you want to peel the stencil film off while it's wet, I would recommend a very light touch with an X-Acto knife, cutting through your vinyl so you can peel it off in sections instead of one full sheet. Or you can wait till the paint dries completely and then you can peel it off and you won't get paint on yourself. So we'll see how that works. I'm going to try to peel it wet because I think I'm impatient and I'm anxious to see how it turns out. Okay, I'm just going to be careful not to let any of the stencil fall back down on the project. And that came up beautifully. So I'm going to keep going and peel the next piece. This is 2 pieces. Let's see if I can pinch that. There we go. Okay, that came off nicely. Wipe my hands and do the next piece. Now, one thing I did notice on my piece of wood is I did get some on the edges off the sides. However, I'm not going to worry about that just yet. I might buff those out with a little sander to bring back up the wood. And I noticed that I did get it around the pumpkin here. That did not work so well. But for the rest of it, I'm going to go ahead and let it dry before I try to pick out the center of the pumpkin and the center of the leaves. Okay, for the most part it's dry. The pumpkin is a little bit wet still in the center, but I'm going to go ahead and pick at with my tweezers here, the inside of the words and peel those up. Okay, so there is the completed project. Like I said, I was a little bit disappointed here on my painting techniques over here, but other than that, I think the product is fantastic. It went on some of the roughest palette wood I could find out back, and it did a great job. I hope you enjoyed watching. Thank you.